Hello, welcome, Cabbage here. In Final Fantasy Brave Exvius, the War of the Visions, let's finally do a review of the game. And unlike the videos from before where I'm just showing off how the game works, here I'll be giving some actual opinions. How I feel about the game, if I am going to continue or not, and then who I would recommend this game to. But I've been playing it for about a week, and I feel like I have a pretty good handle on it, so let's have a look. But before we look at War of the Visions, I'll make an announcement. I think I finally quit the regular Final Fantasy Brave Exvius forever. I deleted it maybe a month ago, and then this time I felt nothing. This was maybe the fourth time I've deleted it, but I think I'm just sick of the game. I'm sick of dealing with how it's mishandled. I'm sick of the game system, collecting characters, just looking at the menus and everything, so I think that's it for Brave Exvius. My energies will be moved towards War of the Visions. And then I'm also going to give up Kotobuki, just because I think I like War of the Visions enough for it to replace that game. Kotobuki is great, looks great, great characters, but there's no actual gameplay in it. You just collect characters and then you raise their level. For casual players, you know, that could be enough. There's some story in there as well. But yeah, without the gameplay, it wasn't very compelling to me. And then lots of people are prejudging this game, both in Japan and around the world, because of who is handling it, Gumi and then Hirono, that producer. I'm willing to give War of the Visions a try, however, and then I'll play it until, it infuriates me so much that I quit. But I think longtime players of Final Fantasy Brave Exvius, they remember, the first year or two was pretty fun and pretty balanced. Until the 7-star meta and then select tickets and all that was announced. Then everything went down the toilet, I think. But yeah, I'll play War of the Visions until either I get bored of it, or until Gumi pulls some kind of crap like a 7-star meta. And then, I'll say that was a fun experience and then put it to bed. Of course, I'll still be playing Monster Strike full-time. That's my game. But yeah, War of the Visions, I am pretty impressed. I wasn't expecting it to be this good. And then I was kind of anticipating, or I was kind of debating with myself if I even wanted to download it. For the moment, I'm glad that I have. But to talk about first, things that I like about the game. I like all of the look, and like the music and character design. The tactics game, starting with Ogre Battle, and then those Atlas titles, which take place in the Ogre universe. That team eventually went on to make Final Fantasy Tactics and Final Fantasy XII. It's a world, mostly, that is based kind of like in hard medieval fantasy. So there's swords and armor, and then spells and monsters. But, Final Fantasy has all that, but it goes further. And then it has sci-fi elements or steampunk elements. The tactics games and the ogre games, they're all just purely fantasy. So in that sense, I like them a little bit more than the Final Fantasy games, even though I love the Final Fantasy games very much. The character design looks very similar to Final Fantasy Tactics. Might even be the same illustrator. I haven't looked that up. But yeah, I like there's a cross-hatching sort of effect there. And they even extend that to the world, the in-game graphics, so it's all very consistent with each other. And then I like looking at the menus as well. I think the menus here are much more nice looking than they are in a Brave Exvius. I always kind of thought that was like an ugly game. I was very curious about the story, curious but maybe with low expectations since it's a mobile game. But it's actually fairly compelling. I'm about 4 books, or whatever you want to call it, into the story. And yeah, there are some characters that I'm liking. It's a lot of, it's different houses, and then they have alliances and things. And so far, nobody's betrayed anybody. It's just the standard, I'm allied with this guy, so I'm going to fight you. There are some defections and things, but nothing major. So you have characters moving from one area to another, or trying to escape from a place. And then I guess one of the things that the game centers on, which is also kind of present in Final Fantasy Tactics, are these like these heavenly relics, which give you great powers. Like the main character Monto is given a ring, and he can use that to summon spirits, or visions rather. And then there's a necklace, which the Horn family has, and then there's some armor, and then there's some other things which haven't been revealed yet. But yeah, just a bunch of relics, and they're very powerful. Maybe they can be used as weapons to turn the tide of the war. I haven't gotten that far in the story yet. But yeah, you know, people are going towards those holy relics, or they're moving them from one place to another, or they're fighting over them, and it's mildly interesting. I'll keep, I won't skip the story, I'll keep reading the story. And then my favorite thing about this game are the leveling up your characters. So you raise their levels, that just raises their stats. You raise their crystal level, that will raise their maximum standard level. Then you can raise their stars, that will give them more abilities to choose from, also raise their maximum level. And then you can raise their job levels, which will unlock more skills that they can use. And yeah, gathering together the materials and then using those to upgrade your guys is fun. And yeah, slowly seeing them get stronger and then being able to do more stuff. This all would have been fine as a game, but I think the one part of the game that kind of puts it over the top as far as like depth and you know, really being interested in the system of the game is being able to customize your passive skills, your reactive skills, and then also like your sub-job skills. It's pretty similar to Tactics. And I was like, I saw that and I was like, oh, this is kind of more than a mobile game, closer to a console game. So you can do some customization with your guys. So like, there are some mage characters. You can give them time mage or green mage or white mage. Then depending on which sub-job you give them, they'll have different skills. And so you can use them in different ways. As you need them in different quests, and that's really interesting to me. I'm excited to unlock all those skills and then try them out. The game is it has a lot to do with micromanaging, and that's nothing new in tactics games, but it does mean that you can spend a good amount of the time in the game just kind of, you know, moving stuff around, upgrading stuff, replacing stuff. If you like that, then this game will be really good for you. But it can be time consuming. That's part of the reason why I quit Kotobuki for this game. Okay, next are things that I don't like. As much as I like leveling up the characters, I dislike leveling up like equipment and vision cards and espers. I'm just like, who cares? You know, just give me the stuff so I can use it on my characters. But you know, the designers of the game, they want you to spend more time in the game. So it's like more busy work to upgrade this stuff. I've personally put very little effort into upgrading any of that, and I'm still getting through the game fine. But I can imagine that, you know, later in the game, with very high-level quests, you will need to upgrade those stuff in order to put you over the edge and then get the clear. But for now, I'm ignoring it, and yeah, I'm not looking forward to it. Another thing I don't really like is the... well, there is an auto battle option that you can use in-game, which is very, very important, and you'll be using it a lot. But the artificial intelligence that guides your actions, it's not great. So you might have like two guys with delayed attacks target the same guy, even though one of those attacks will be enough to take down the guy. So the first unit will take down the enemy, and then the enemy will die, and then the second unit will continue to target that enemy, and it'll be a wasted attack. It's not a big deal, mostly just because I'm playing the easier story quests, but for high-level quests, this could be unusable. Not that I would use auto-battle for high-level quests anyway, but if I am watching like the artificial intelligence moving my guys around and wasting actions, it just bothers me, even if it's an easy quest. Then next are the Chocobo expeditions. I'm like, who cares? You know, why is this in here? It's to give you a little bit of extra items and then maybe raise the levels of your guys that go on the expeditions, but I don't think it's necessary at all. I guess it's an excuse to put Chocobos in the game, so whatever. Okay, then finally I want to talk about the things that I don't mind. These are things that a lot of players may dislike, but which I am okay with at the moment. I could go either way. We'll see how it turns out in the future. One thing to keep in mind is that this is a brand new game, and then usually when new mobile games come out, they err on the strict side. So like, they don't give you a lot of materials, and in order to get those materials, it takes a lot of work. And then as time goes on, they get a little bit more generous over time. So yeah, this is kind of like the most difficult time to be playing the game. It's this very beginning part. I guess the first thing I'll talk about is the battle system. It's good. I was worried. This was one of the things that I was worried about most coming into this game. Is because when you play tactics games on consoles or that kind of thing, the battles can take a while for each battle. And I was wondering, like, would that work on a mobile game? And I'm thinking it's not, and then the developers also knew this. So most of the battles that you do, whether it's story or multiplayer or whatever, will take less than a minute. I think that was smart, because, that lends itself more to grinding, and then it's easier to do the auto battle with that kind of short, easy quests. But it also means there's not a lot of depth to most of the fights in the game. Like I'm going through the story, and then, I look at the story and I look at the characters and see what's going on. But then when the battle comes, I just put on auto battle and then I forget about it until the battle's over, and then I go on to the next story and watch that story. So it's the smart move, I think, to make the battles sort of non-consequential, but it's kind of a shame. Once you get to like the higher level stuff, like the bosses or like the limited time, kind of higher difficulty stuff, then you can spend a bit more time in the stage and then get more of an experience of playing a tactics game. Next is the gacha. Most people think that the rates are very low, and then it's crappy to mix in vision cards with units. I agree. It's a little bit difficult to get rare characters in this game. But at this moment, you don't need them. So that's why I'm okay with it rather than upset with it. But yeah, if you can look at some tier lists, look at good uncommon characters, you can use those to get through like 90% of the game. So I wouldn't worry about getting rare characters right now. As for my plans for spending in the game, I'm probably just going to stick to guaranteed stuff like packs, where you get guaranteed drops of units or whatever, and then I'll see how far that will get me. If the game gets too whaley, then I'm out, but I don't think it'll ever get to that point. As sketchy as Final Fantasy Brave Exvius was with its Lapis and then Hatcher stuff, it was always possible to do a lot of the content even as a free-to-play player, so I'm not too worried about that in that sense. Another thing I don't mind is multiplayer. I really disliked Arena in Final Fantasy Brave Exvius. Arena is better here in War of the Visions because it's all auto, and then again the battle takes maybe like less than a minute. There are other multiplayer options. There is the match battle where you actually control your guys, and then those battles can take a while, but it's never necessary, so you never need to feel forced to do it, but if you are in the mood, then it's always available. So yeah, I think a lot of people are going to enjoy that, the match battle, more than anything else in the game, and that's cool. Good for them. And then there's the multiplayer battles where you can team up and then, just fight easy guys in order to get materials. That's cool too. You can, add friends to your friend list, get some items. I'll probably be playing that very little as well. And then, maybe the biggest deal about this game is going to be the grinding. I think a lot of people, if they've only ever played Final Fantasy Brave Exvius, they're going to be very surprised at the amount of grinding they need to do in this game. I would say it's most similar to manually farming Earthshrine. I think maybe like 95% of Brave Exvius players have never really spent real time in the Earthshrine. But grinding for materials in War of the Visions is going to be pretty similar. Your phone is going to be on for maybe hours on end, and you're just going to be like, hitting buttons to get through menus so that you can keep playing quests over and over in order to gather materials. I was pretty good at manually farming Earth Shrine, and then the secret to doing that was to do something else in the meantime as you are farming. So you can eat or cook or read a book, watch a movie, do laundry, those kinds of things. If you're just sitting there and you're watching the phone just grind and grind and grind, that's going to be intolerable. And I think for a lot of people, that's their image of what the grinding is going to be. Just earlier today, I think, I spent 2 hours playing a quest, just trying to get one drop of like one orb of a sword so I could raise Mont's job level. I didn't get it. So yeah, drop rates on materials are pretty low. This wouldn't be as big of a deal if they handed out more skip tickets, but skip tickets are pretty rare. And then I checked in the store, and there's no skip tickets available for purchase, even for real money. So I don't know. I feel like maybe that's the one thing I would change about the game, is I would, give a lot more skip tickets to players every day. But yeah, those are my thoughts on War of the Visions. Lots that I like, not a lot that I don't like, and they're all kind of minor things anyways. And then things that I don't mind, like the gacha rates, the grinding, and then multiplayer. Those could go in a bad direction, but for the moment I can tolerate them. And then as for whether I would recommend the game, I would say yes, it's very well done. It is fun, looks great, good story. But it can be very time consuming if you want to do it hardcore. So maybe you don't want too many other games in your life while you're doing this. And then if you do plan on playing it free to play, you want to take the long view for sure. Maybe not even considering high level content until like 6 months or a year from when you start. For pay to play players, I think there are lots of, in the beginning now at least, there are lots of packs with like guaranteed characters or materials or whatever. So maybe you can spend and just stick to those, and then yeah, have a pretty good team, and then get through most of the game. And then this goes true for pretty much every mobile game, but whales are the people that are kind of impatient and want to advance through the game very quickly, and then, get up to high levels and stuff very soon. But yeah, it should be doable for free-to-play players. You'll just have to be patient, and then, yeah, wait for things to come to you. Okay, but those are my thoughts on War of the Visions. Hopefully the next video will be about the Final Fantasy XIV Raid and EX stage. They had to delay the release of the Raid from Friday to Monday, sorry. Because I guess there were problems with trying to get it implemented. It's going to be a multiplayer thing, so it could be interesting, but also there's a lot of chance for hiccups, I think. Okay, thanks for watching, and we'll see you again. Take care.